if you're going to work with visuals, there are some things that you must keep in mind. The idea of visuals is for it to explain your architecture better. So whoever is coming to you for visuals, whether it's an architect or a real estate company or it's for your design, the idea is that you want people to understand the architecture better. That's the primary reason. Now, if you're working with somebody in real estate, for instance, they need people to understand the architecture for the sake of sales. So they're trying to sell their building and they want you to present that building in that light, something that should be sold. The thing though is that I'm presenting my building for sales has a lot of implications. There are things that speak to people. If there's anything that you're doing in life, there is a fundamental core principle that has nothing to do with technology. So don't let anybody bamboozle you with technology. Technology only enables you to show what you know. That's all it does. It doesn't all of a sudden give you extra wisdom. Wisdom is something that you will arrive at because you have knowledge and you can see how to apply that knowledge. That's what wisdom is. It's taking knowledge and finding the right application for it. Has absolutely nothing to do with technology, nothing to do with tools. And this is how I want you to be thinking from today onward. Don't think in technology, don't think in tools. Think about the fundamental core principle. That is the wisdom of the thing you're doing. If you look at a shot like this, let me close this up. If you look at a shot like this is not really an experiential shot. This does not tell you much about the experience. This doesn't show you much about the architectural ingenuity. In some cases, there are aerial shots that would show that. But in this case, there isn't that much architectural ingenuity on display here because this is like a general overview of the property. This is very good for real estate developers because they can say, oh, we've got 10 units available. You can see the 10 units. You can say, I think I would like to pick this unit in the center because it feels blah, 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 whatever your reasoning. Or I would like to pick the one at the end here because it feels a bit more private. People get a sense of scale. They get a sense of appreciation and they can make some decisions based on this sort of image. So that's the thinking behind it. So, we're not doing an aerial shot because that's what's required of us. Oh, they said we should do aerial shot. Let me just do it. There has to be a thinking and a reasoning behind it. That reasoning is what shapes how you will take the aerial shot and what angle you would pick, what lighting you would pick, because you know the purpose of that shot. Clear? Does this make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Let's take another one, for instance, that is similar to that. A shot like this. This also is an existence/scale shot, right? But this one focuses on the building now. So if somebody wanted to buy a unit here, they get the grand idea of what the entire block is like. They're like, oh, this is the full block. They get it. They understand that each unit has parking in front of it. They can see that now. So when they are making a decision, they understand, okay, this is what every unit in this block gets. The buyer is now getting more immersed. So he has seen a shot showing the entire facility. Now, the buyer is also seeing something that says, okay, this is what this particular unit looks like. If I want to get a unit here, what do I get? How is the relationship between my unit and my neighbor's unit? Is there some kind of privacy, or will they be able to walk from their balcony straight into mine? This answers some questions that they may not even know that they had. Just this one visual answers that question. And that's why people in real estate really rely on visuals, because how many things can you explain to a buyer? You really don't have that time and that strength to explain a lot of things to them. So it's now your role as the person creating the visuals to understand, because even the real estate company that employs you doesn't really know that that's what they are looking for. It's you that has to interpret that. These guys want to get sales. What common objections will a buyer have? What common, misconceptions can they form about this building? I need to take care of those things in the 3D. So when people say, oh, it's just 3D, it's not just 3D. This is what makes sure that you're able to sell your building. And if you don't do it correctly, they will struggle with sales. So, your job is very crucial, and it's beyond just generating a render, right? It's thinking about what the buyer needs, right? So this kind of shot establishes the block, lets them understand how much parking they have, how they relate with their neighbors, what is the full scale of the building, does it look too dense? Oh, this doesn't look too dense. It's nice. Oh, I have this screen in front of my building and my neighbors have it too. Like, it just gives you a full sense of this block, and it helps you in the decision-making process. Somebody raised their hand. Do you want to say something? Simon? Okay, so maybe that was an error. All right, so let's go to another shot. So this particular building here, that's this one. There's a second shot of it. This one, okay. So this is the one, right? And this one, you can see that we just isolate 2 units. The idea of this is to create a bit more personalization, is to immerse you in a section of the building. The main block itself, which is this, is actually quite large. It feels very impersonal right now. So it's difficult most times. Most buyers, right, they are laymen. They are not architects like you. They don't have the design sense that you have. Many of them cannot immerse themselves in the images that you create. You need to guide them systematically into the immersion. So you notice that we had first a large scale shot showing the entire facility. That's not very immersive, but it gives you a sense of scale, which is good. We've got this shot that shows an entire block. It's also not personally immersive, but it's more immersive than the aerial shot. You now have a sense of what it feels like on land, but we still needed to support it with something like this that feels a bit more personal. So you're thinking, oh, if I come back from work, I can drive onto my driveway. It feels more personal. The person is not saying it like that, but that is the sense they are getting when they see this. I can drive onto my driveway. From my driveway, I go into my house from here. Oh, I could sit out on my balcony. Because we have blocked out most of the other parts of the building, we can really see it here. And the mood helps. It's an overcast mood. It feels really chill. It feels like a day when maybe it's just rained and you just want to relax. They get that relaxing feel from this. Some artificial lights on. It just has a really cool and personal feel. And because of the mood too, you get to enjoy and see the materials much better. You can see the travertine here. Clearly, you can see the brick, right? And you can see what some kind of lighting would feel like. There's just a personal feel that this has. So if somebody's trying to buy a unit here, they can feel a more personal touch with a shot like this. So the strategy of your production, right? The strategy of your image creation has to start first with, how do I take the buyer on a journey? I'm not just rendering for the sake of rendering. I'm taking the buyer on a journey. And if I can get them to see themselves in this facility, the sale is made. The job of a visual artist is also the job of a salesman. It's just that you have a lot of technical work to do along the way. You need to be able to direct the thinking of the person that will buy it. How do I strategically make it such that when somebody goes through this set of images, they can picture themselves in the space? And when somebody pictures themselves in a space, it becomes difficult for them to detach. They will do whatever it takes to pull that money out to buy it, apart from rob a bank. Hopefully they won't do that. But hey, I'm sure you get what I mean. That's what your developers or employees or whatever are going to pay you for. Even they may not realize it, but you realize the work that is going on behind the scene. So let's do something that shows something a bit more experiential. Let's do something like this. You look at this kind of shot, it's not necessarily showing you the entire building, right? In fact, it's not even focused on the pool. The pool is part of the shot. It's a small section of the shot, but what it focuses on is largely the experience of this place. You can picture yourself sitting on this cane chair right here, or this rattan chair, or lying down on the lounger. That thing triggers something in your mind, right? It personalizes the space to you at a very deep level. You can say, oh, I can imagine my kids in the pool and I'm just sitting down watching them and I'm eating an apple and I'm taking a drink. People process things like this. And I'm sheltered from the sun because I'm sitting on the rattan chair. You'll be surprised that all those little things build the experience in the eye of the viewer. without them ever being in the space. In fact, without the space ever existing, you've already sold them the dream on a very personal level, right? So this is a very experiential shot. It shows some features and it shows them how they could interact with and enjoy the space. Like I said at the beginning, you're thinking from first principles. You're thinking from core fundamentals. When you're giving a brief, you're not just thinking, let me enter into D5, let me enter Max, let me enter... Calm down. Try to understand what is the purpose of this thing that I want to do. Some of it is just to establish that a thing exists because that's good for marketing. Some of it is to establish scale. Some of it is to celebrate the details that you have in the work. Some of it is to celebrate the experience. And a complete package, especially for this kind of project, should have all those sets of images. You talk like this, right, to a developer and tell them this is what you're thinking about it. All of a sudden, they're not thinking about you as somebody providing 3D service. They're thinking about you as somebody who is trying to help them sell. And once you can remove yourself from I am doing 3D to I'm helping you sell, all of a sudden, you can charge so much more for what you do. I hope you understand what I have said. I hope it's clear. I hope it makes sense to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any questions regarding what we've discussed so far?
I have some questions.
Okay. Go ahead.
There's a certain amount of realism that really comes with a lot of the visuals as I've seen. And I'm thinking it's coming from the way you are framing them. It's either strolls or one element or the other and all that. So like, to create this type of experience that I'm talking about, so that the client or who are telling to going to experience themselves, you need to have a way to frame and arrange the thing in such a way that it can always keep out that energy.
Yes.
So coming from us now that are just doing normal 3D, so you don't know how to frame that these things in such a way that it can sell the work the way you have done it. So that's my question. So how do we get to this level of arrangement, framing, and all that?
Were you in the first class that we had? The first class that we had for this mentorship session? Were you here? Was it the first or the second one? Where we did the art appreciation and we analyzed some images and why they work?
Okay, I was in that one. The
Okay.
one that we analyzed. Okay.
So we've done that twice now, right? The idea behind that is pretty much to let you know how to compose scenes and how people perceive scenes and what to do to guide them to a particular conclusion. It's a crucial part. In fact, it is the core of what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, you are a digital, or let me say, not digital, a virtual photographer, right? And the photographer gets into a space. Most of what he will photograph is already there. The couches are there, the plants are there, the building is there, whatever it is. What sets that photographer apart from a mediocre one is that he understands how to place everything well within a single frame. This is something that you will learn over a long period of time. It's something that I teach my students also. I have students that I mentor specifically for this purpose. So I teach them all these principles at a deeper level. I take their work, I reanalyze it. So if they do a particular render, they send it to me. I analyze the render in class like this, and I tell them what they could have done. That question you're asking, okay, if I'm doing normal 3D, there's no such thing as normal 3D. It's you that has commonized it. Of course, there are some designs that give you more to play with than others. So I get where you're coming from, but you can make the most of whatever design you have. That's the ingenuity, and that's what you're getting paid top dollar for if you are charging top dollar. And if you're not, you should start thinking of charging well so that you have the time to calm down and do something really, really good.